you think you in love with me, but I'm not the girl of your dreams. Cause I've been rocking and dodging the beat of love. Baby, I'm not the one for you. I'm not letting you on cause you know my truth. But I know just what to do for you. Cause when that Jones come down, hey, na 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 na, hey, ooh, na 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 na. When that Jones come down, hey, nothing you can do about it, hey, ooh, na 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 na.
Good evening, and welcome to My Sister Circle. I'm your host, Coach D, and to my left is my beautiful co-host, O.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm so good.
It's a good day.
It's a good day. It's a great day. Sorry, guys, that we are late. Sorry for the technical difficulties. So, guys, I know. Let me just go ahead and tell you guys. I know you guys were definitely waiting for Mr. Stokely Williams to be the guest of for today's show, but his flight was delayed, so we are going to have to reschedule that interview. It's okay. It'll get rescheduled. You know, we'll do our best to get it rescheduled. His team sent that message over, so we just gonna,
press forward.
Yeah, and delayed flights suck for everybody. So, Mr. Stokely, I'm so sorry that you are on a delayed flight because that is the worst.
Make it to your destination safely.
Right? So we'll see you next time, Mr. Stokely. All right. So we are going to move on. So I hope you guys still tune in. I hope you guys wasn't just tuning in because Mr. Pretty Brown Eyes himself was going to be on the show. But I hope you guys are tuning in because it's My Sister Circle.
Yes.
Because it's me and O, and it's our day. It's our Thursday that we love to come on and talk about different things with you guys. So, how was your week?
I am so thankful that today is Thursday and tomorrow is Friday. I could do the Cabbage Patch.
Not the Cabbage Patch.
The old school. I'm so happy.
My work week starts
on
Fridays. So
this is a 7-day work week for me, but I can bear it.
You can bear it?
I can bear it.
So yeah, mine start in the morning at 4 a.m. So
when you just told me that, did you see how I looked at you like, what?
And your pretty brown eyes are popping today.
Okay.
What if he would?
Hey. No.
All right. So guys, you getting some texts over there. Some hot texts over there.
Nothing important. Moving on.
Right, moving on. All right, guys. So our topic today is overcoming self-sabotaging. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what do you do in situations that occur like this. You know, when adversity comes or when challenging situation comes, what do you do in those situations? How do you be prompt? How do you move forward when things didn't go the way that you planned? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a few things today because we did have a total different show for you guys today. So this happens to us very often, not canceled celebrities, but this happens to us often where shows don't go as planned. And we have to just jump on here and just do what we do.
Which is talking. I think we're both skilled at that.
I think so too.
We do well.
I think so too. So I'm going to look at the comments and whatever you guys want to talk about today, you want to add to the topic. You guys can jump on here and talk about that as well, and we'll touch bases on that. So the first thing we want you guys to do is like, share, and invite. Invite your friends, invite your family, share it to groups, do all of those things that you love to do, that you guys do for us every week. Charlie is producing our show from where Charlie is. Charlie is where Charlie is. Charlie can produce our show from anywhere. And me and O are here together. We decided to be together today. Absolutely. Anywhere in the world, Charlie can produce our show. So if you guys are looking for a podcast home or a talk show home, make sure that you inbox me or O so that we can get that information over to you for Charlie. And he'll get you guys set up. So if that's something you're interested in, it is a Christian network, but it's not an ordinary Christian network, if that makes sense. If you're interested and you want to jump on board with this family, definitely reach out to us. So we are going to move on to our Sister of the Week.
Yeah.
And what I want you to do first, Charlie, is play our Sister of the Week's commercial. Our Sister of the Week is Miss Kay Reddy. I love Miss Kay Reddy. Kay is a amazing, genuine, spirited person. I've had the pleasure of knowing Kay for a few years now through church. And I have to say, Kay is an amazing, amazing woman. Her spirit is always genuine. Kay is actually a real estate expert. She is a real estate agent. She's a real estate owner. She is the owner of Ready Real Estate Experts, brokered by Fathom Realty. She is just an amazing person. I love to see everything that she has been doing with women, where she is teaching women how to be just these amazing people in real estate and how to move forward in real estate. I just see as she's very passionate about the real estate world, and I think that that's amazing. Just to see everything that she's doing, everything that I remember just seeing her from the beginning, when I first met her a few years ago, just seeing that process to now, and I just think that she's an amazing person. Like I said, her spirit is just so amazing, and I see how she celebrates the women that she's connected to all the time. And for me, that is effective sisterhood, celebrating other women. It's what we're about. So I couldn't pass up the opportunity to make sure that she was crowned Sister of the Week. So congratulations, Kay. I appreciate you. I celebrate you the same way that you celebrate the other women. If you guys are looking for any real estate property, if you're looking to buy a home, if you're looking to buy a commercial building, to buy some your business properties or anything, definitely reach out to her. All her social media handles will come across the screen or be on our page. And then I'm going to actually have our producer play her commercial. Commercial, Charlie. All right. That's okay. He's getting the commercial and he's getting it played, so it's an amazing commercial. I'm not sure who produced it. Her son may have produced the commercial. I'm not really sure though, because it is an amazing commercial. So the time that I've you don't know where it is, Charlie? Oh, you guys see what I mean? We just have to go
with the flow.
Some days are just going with the flow. I promise you.
Yeah.
Let's talk. So self-sabotaging. What's sabotaging? What's our definition of our topic?
The definition of sabotage is to intentionally destruct.
Intentionally destruct.
That's the abbreviated version. Okay, don't quote me on the entire definition,
listen,
but it's
to
intentionally destroy or self-destruct.
Okay.
Yes.
So self-sabotaging, to intentionally self-destruct. Overcoming self-sabotaging is a process within itself.
Mm-hmm. And a difficult one.
So we're going to come back to the topic once we play this amazing commercial. This show is going to be very interesting.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kay Reddy. I am the state broker at Fathom Realty, Michigan. As a professional, not only do I focus on selling homes, but I create an unforgettable experience for my clients. Have you considered selling your home? Here is why now is the perfect time to do so. The market is at an all-time high, and your home may be worth more than you believe. But it doesn't stop there. You may be an investor or considering purchasing a home. Give me a call today for your free home evaluation. I can handle all of your real estate needs.
That was a cute
How
one.
did I end up on the? Wait a minute.
That was cute. Okay, I love this.
Oh,
Come on. I'm loving this.
So you think you
Tasha
want to?
Cash. That was
I
cute.
love that.
That was cute, Charlie. I love that. For real, definitely. All right, self-sabotaging. Procrastination. Let's talk about procrastination. People who self-sabotage often procrastinate. Let's talk about that.
I think it comes into play like because maybe sometimes people are not motivated or don't know how to get motivated. So they end up lagging and taking their time. And then by you being lax and taking your time, you can sabotage yourself and not accomplish the things that you're trying to accomplish.
Okay, so do you think fear has something to do with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. What else? What else would
I think
be some
it's
root
fear.
things?
I think it's complacency.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Being in a place of like comfortability, you're like, well, maybe it's a business venture, and you're like, well, I kind of want to start the business, but I mean, I'm doing okay financially, and I mean, I'll write that business plan later.
So one of the things that I really wanted to talk to you about, I'll come back to it, but don't let me forget that I wanted to talk about something particular when it came to self-sabotaging. But let's also then go to perfectionism. Self-sabotaging during perfectionism. Holding oneself to an impossible standard will cause delays and setbacks.
Not only that, but I mean, I got to always come from the mental place. That is very mentally draining.
It is.
We are not created to be perfect in any aspect of our lives. So and you can sabotage yourself by thinking that everything. I think you can strive for things to work harmoniously, but I think the word perfect is something we should take out of our vocabulary.
So we should strive for excellence.
Strive for excellence, not perfection. Absolutely. I love that.
Yep, strive for excellence, not perfection.
Not perfection.
That was something that for me I definitely had to work on.
Yes.
Everything had to be just in my eyes so perfect, even when it came to the show.
Yeah.
Like this last year, this whole we got the oh gosh, this would have took me to I've been in the studio sweating, and y'all can attest to that. Yeah. And everybody would always say, "But you do so well. Nobody would have never known." Y'all don't understand. Nobody knows. Would bring so much anxiety to me because it was like I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to be this. When I think I even said on the show that I had to start saying, "Okay, although I know that this I want it done in excellence, I have to be okay with things being out of place sometimes and just going in a flow."
Yeah.
And that was hard for me. So that was a place for me, not everything not aligning in this perfect way that I visioned it to be. That was something that I had to work on.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think things done in excellence could come in a different form. And I don't think it's always maybe how something starts, but how something kind of molds itself and comes together. So our idea of excellence or perfection, which I really hate the word perfect, I think it can transcend into something different and can mold itself to something different. And the end product or result is, is excellence.
Okay. So self-medication.
Ooh, that's a big one. Do you know half of our population self-medicates?
Dang, half?
Yes. Actually, to segue into that, there's a huge epidemic right now with people abusing a particular drug. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want anybody to go in search of it if you having a tough time, okay? But half of our society, more than half of our society, self-medicates, and that can come in many different forms, and it's not just drug-based. Self-medicating,
some of the things we talked about last week, actually.
Yeah, self-medicating can be abusive, sexual fulfillment, narcotics, shopping, overeating, overindulgence. There's lots of things you can do to self-medicate.
So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. And so the thing that I really wanted to talk to you about,
Mm-hmm.
I said I can't forget to bring this up, and I knew that during the interview process of Mr. Stokely that we would not have much time.
Okay.
But I really wanted to bring up, because we don't talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
is self-sabotaging your healing process.
Ooh. Ooh. All I can say
That
is
actually gave me a little. That
yeah.
self-sabotaging your healing process.
Mm.
Let's talk about it.
Right. One more time.
Charlie
Ooh.
is like, ooh.
Yeah. I don't think people understand how vital the healing process is after a traumatic experience. Um, and only thing I can do is use myself as an example. I won't say what the situation was because that's not relevant, but I think it's imperative for everybody to take a moment to be quiet after something happens. I'm not saying stop your life, but I'm definitely saying take a moment to reflect. I think when you emotionally bypass what you've been through and think that, okay, well, this situation happened and I can just jump right back out there and start over again. Half of that to me says that's a healthy mindset. The other half to me says you're overcompensating for pain that you're not ready to identify with. And you don't always have to jump knee deep into what bothered you or what hurt you. But I think by like overdriving like that, the necessary steps of healing, you're almost ignoring it. Like you're ignoring the fact that something happened. You're not taking an opportunity to acknowledge it. I'm not saying be sad and be depressed, but there's no way to fully be healed from something unless you acknowledge it and you take necessary steps to make yourself better and to acknowledge the situation that happened.
And a lot of times I think that what happens in self-sabotaging your healing process is that let's go into relationship form.
Okay.
Romantic, friendship, whatever the relationship, parental,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the relationship is. But let's go into that. And a lot of times what we do is we stay in a place. We think we come out of the place, and we say we come out of the place, but we do things that are familiar to the place, right? So we go back and we, read texts. We go back and we continue to follow those family members, or we continue to follow the person in that relationship, or we continue to dwell on things that's from the past, or that's the toxic areas that were that caused the separation in the first place.
Yeah.
And we like even if you haven't identified it yet, a lot of us like the pain of that.
Yes.
Because it makes you feel closer to the situation. Even though you're saying you're pulling away, it makes you feel closer to the person or to the loved one or to the situation. And so you begin to self-sabotage your healing process because, just like O said, you begin to skip over the things that you're supposed to, the process. So you begin to go from 1 to 6. 1 back to 1, okay, because now you go back to ground zero, then you go to 1 to 4, and then you go to 1 to 8. And what you do is you skip over the necessary steps that you're supposed to take, and those things are sometimes crying, sometimes is identifying what hurt you, or the things that hurt you in that situation, in that relationship, in that parentalship, in that friendship, those things that actually hurt you. And then not going back to those things, not accepting those things from somebody else, and like O said, not jumping back into something. So I think a lot of times those things help us or hurt us, okay? And that's why we self-sabotage our healing process, because we don't give ourselves a chance. The whole and I'm guilty of even stalking the and I'm using the word stalking because honestly that's what it ends up being.
True word.
Okay,
Yeah,
stalking the person secretly, looking at things, looking into their lives, and things like that, and you really sabotage your healing process by doing that. You stop your healing process. It's yielded at that point, because you can't move on if these are the things that you're doing, because now you're pouring toxic into your own healing process.
I think for me, if I have a situation with someone, um, especially if it's in a romantic correlation, my first initial thought process is I need to completely, and this is going to sound like such an overly dramatic word, but ta-da, that's who I am. Is to completely eradicate that person from my memory.
You have to.
That means I'm a firm believer in you being blocked and being blessed. I don't care how petty or immature you think that is. That is part of my healing process.
Mm-hmm.
I am not looking at you. I'm not reading your statuses. You definitely are not saved in my phone. You are blocked in every sense of the word. And I don't even care if it was an amicable split.
Mm-hmm.
In order for Orion to come to a place of peace, I have to let you completely dissipate into the blue lagoon until I am ready for you to reemerge. And sometimes that never even happens, because once I get to a place where I'm on the path of healing from whatever it is you did to me, or maybe whatever we did to each other, there is no need for me to go back. And this is how I think of it. Self-sabotaging, when you go back and you look at a person, say for instance, Facebook. We use Facebook all day, every day, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Why am I intentionally going to re-slice my wound open? So say you go to a surgeon and they're like, that arm is broke.
Mm-hmm.
That arm is broke. It's got to go in a sling. And you're like, okay, doc, no problem. I'm going to put it in the sling. Then 2 days later, you know that arm is broke, but you take the sling off and you start wailing it all around.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
If I know that you've inflicted pain on me, I am not getting ready to slice my wound back open and go and look at your pictures and be like, oh my God, I loved his face. Who cares about your face?
But people do it all the time. And sometimes not even in those ways of, oh my gosh, I love this. Sometimes in a bitter way.
Yeah. But again,
in an
why
angry
do
way.
that to yourself? That is the craziest thing to me that we do to each other, to ourselves, not each other, because no one's forcing you to log into Facebook and look at somebody. That's your own individual desire. Stop it. All I can say is stop it. Stop torturing yourself. Just stop it.
And then one more thing that we're not gonna. You guys might not like it, but one more thing about that is the statuses. It's the statuses. It's the making the toxic statuses. That what you doing? What you over there doing? It's the making the toxic statuses about the situation, about the individual, about the relationship, about the friendship. It's making those toxic statuses, because what you're doing is, in your mind, you're saying, it makes me feel good to share this post. It makes me feel good to write this post. Okay, but no, it's really in hindsight, it's actually toxic.
It makes you look passive aggressive. It makes you look immature, and it makes you look like you are not capable of formulating your feelings and addressing the person head on.
Or not addressing, just letting
it go. And we're humans, right? We circumvent our frustrations in a plethora of different ways. But there's nothing I hate more than a passive aggressive post. If you really feel that way, like if you feel froggy, leap.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong, and I think that's something that we do in society. There's nothing wrong with reaching out to a person that is a new situation that's hurt you and saying, Dewana, that conversation that we had, it really did something to me. Can we talk about it? Or I feel like this. I think if more people took that approach into adjusting and confronting their hurt, you wouldn't have all of these weird, awkward situations.
Yeah.
Confrontation is healthy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And avoiding it is not good for your soul or mental or anything like that. Have the uncomfortable conversation.
I can speak on it in that way, because I've had situations where it made me, I wanted to write it out. So Facebook was an outlet and I wrote it out, or I shared something that had something to do with that situation, or that relationship that and I shared it. And it's not that that it's, you do it once or twice, and it's the consistency
it's
of
perpetual.
that. Absolutely. You can never heal. Like, that's not going to help you heal. That's not going to help you heal. That's not a part of the healing process whatsoever. So those things are some self-sabotaging things, and how to overcome that is what O said. You have to be able to confront the situation. You don't always have to confront the individual, okay? But you have to confront your feelings about it, okay? And a lot of times it's hard for us to let go of something that hurt us so bad.
It is.
It is so hard for us to let go of something or someone that hurt us so bad. And honestly, that is, ooh,
it's painful.
That's why I always say the healing process is a totally different thing. People don't talk about the healing process. You talk about grieving. You talk about pain. But people don't talk about, and especially you don't learn the healing process at church.
No.
They don't talk about the actual healing process when I'm hurt, when I'm hurting.
We're
and
taught
the process.
To be long suffering. To suffer. But you know what though? I don't know how many times I've said this. I will die saying this. The main objective in life, I don't know about anybody else's life, but the main objective in my life is freedom. Freedom from things that weigh me down, freedom from negative thoughts, freedom from bondage. And bondage is sabotage. Those things, sabotage is bondage. Those two things go hand in hand with each other. So it's like, why? I'm not an advocate of holding myself down when I know that I want to fly. Right?
We got some comments. Somebody said that it's hard.
Yeah.
We have someone that said it's childish. And then we have a good comment that says humans are naturally curious. Some will look to see if the ex is doing better without them. And if they aren't, the person is pleased and justifies their need to stalk, search, post. Then I have another comment that says it's a natural reaction. Then I have another one that says I felt more comfortable in reconciling feelings toward relationships that ended on my terms than ended on theirs. That's a good one. That's real. Then I have another one that says it's painful. I want to go back to the humans are naturally curious.
Yeah,
we are. But it's still it doesn't deflect that it's still self-sabotage. We are definitely naturally curious, and we do want to go see, and not everybody do it.
No.
But most people, a lot of people, let's not say most, because a lot of people do.
I really just don't give a hoot.
I know, but
I don't care if Bobby is dating Christina.
I understand. I truly, and I get it.
Be blessed.
And I get it. But I remember when me and my husband broke up.
Yeah.
Okay. Before he became my husband.
Okay.
Baby.
You were like, squirrel.
It was bad, and I had no peace. It was not peaceful at all. It was hurtful.
Yeah.
It's not an okay place. It's not an okay place, and it's really toxic. It's a really toxic space to be in. Yeah. And so it happened, and it was something that I had to. It was a growing thing for me. It was a me coming to a place where, you know what, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then it was some other things, that it was just like, yeah, pretty much I just got to an age just like, you know what?
I guess it really just depends on what role I played in it. So I don't think that it's a his fault, her fault type of thing. I can hold myself accountable for what I did. But if I genuinely know that I treated you like
gold, that's that part.
Okay. If I know that I treated you like gold, please know, not only am I blocking you, blessing you, I'm going to sleep good at night when we're done talking to. Because you're not disrupting my peace.
The healing process at church. Dewana, you touched on a topic that is very relevant. And then I have something that somebody else says, but sometimes I may see a post I like, and I may not be dealing with that situation during that time, but I can relate to it. I post it. So dealing with it and relate to it. Tell me I don't know the difference. Tell me the difference of dealing with it and relating to it. So once you tell me that difference, I'll be able to touch bases on that. I'll touch on that topic, because I don't.
Yeah.
Do you know the difference? And I'm not. I'm just
I'm
really
confused by it.
okay.
So clarify.
So clarify that for us,
Mhm.
and then we'll go ahead and touch on that.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Questions to ask yourself. If you think you self-sabotage, ask yourself, is your behavior aligning with your goals? If not, what is stopping you from taking action to make your dreams come true? Or what's stopping you from healing? Is your behavior aligning with the values that you currently believe? If not, what is stopping you from taking actions that align with these values? Do you feel uneasiness or discomfort when you progress? That is a really good one.
Get a little scared.
That is a really good one, because sometimes elevation brings it brings fear to some people.
Yeah, like some anxiety.
It does, because you've never been in that space before.
Yeah.
You've never been in that elevation space before. Succeeding may be something that some family members have never done.
Yes.
And you don't want them to feel any kind of way. So you kind of stop yourself from being who you are. Because big. You make yourself small to make them, to let them be bigger.
Down,
oh yeah, you dummy down yourself to make them feel on top of the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it could also be that's a really good one. Progressing brings on bigger responsibility.
Absolutely.
Elevation brings on bigger responsibility. So those could be some things.
Yeah.
All right. You want to touch on that, or you want to keep going?
We can keep going.
All right. Yeah. Is this discomfort based on what others told you that limited your aspirations? Is this discomfort based on a fear or a failure and worry about looking foolish? Is this unease based on a fear of success? Are you concerned with achieving more than you thought possible? And if you do better or achieve more, do you believe success is more than you deserve? Woo!
Oh, yeah. That's called the imposter syndrome, where you are in the place of doing great things and you don't feel like you deserve to be there. Imposter syndrome is debilitating. Yeah.
I remember reading about imposter syndrome a couple years ago, reading about imposter syndrome. Sometimes I have to do these homework assignments that I just be like, why do I have to do these homework assignments? But now I understand a lot of times why I have to do these assignments. So did you want to touch on anything? Because we're going to go back to John's comment about touching on the topic of the healing process at church, which I really don't know what to really say about it, because I don't know why it's a topic it's something that's not dealt with at church. Like, why is that not a thing of teaching us what is the healing process steps? What are you going to go through? What are you going to feel? Yeah. What is number one? Like, you can tell me about the 7 stages of grief, or some people say 5 stages of grief. But can you tell me about the healing process? And maybe I'll just do my own research. As being a coach, we have to make sure that we're on top of all those things. So maybe I'll just have my own information. But I'm just talking about coming from a church or Christianity standpoint. Why isn't that something that's dealt with in the church? Or do you guys know? Or do pastors know? Do ministers know? I mean, do we know?
I think there's lots of topics, that this being one of them, that churches could start to really sit down. And it maybe doesn't even have to be like a Sunday morning thing, or it could be, I think it could be a Bible study thing. So many people are trying to understand their hurt. And I think that
that's good.
Instead of like kind of passing through it and just being like, does God heal everything? Yes, he does. But there's also work that we have to do as individuals to get to a place of wholeness. I don't think it's fair to put all of and I hear everybody, you cast your cares on the Lord, for he cares for you. I know that. But God also expects us to be a helper. God helps those that help themselves. And in helping yourself, it's identifying with what the problem is and taking the necessary steps to heal your hurt, and God meeting you at that. That's bridging the gap. You're coming here, God's coming here, and we're going to cross it together. But I think a lot of the times, maybe churches, and I'm not saying anything bad, about a church or anything, but I think a lot of churches just automatically assume that the message that's going forward is that God will heal all of that, and He does. But I think it's imperative to educate people on how to cope.
Absolutely.
You have to give people the tools to cope.
I know people that say they just don't understand.
Yeah.
I just don't understand this healing process. I just don't understand why this has happened.
Yeah.
I definitely think, and I'm not saying that every pastor or every minister is going to know the answers to this themselves. I don't know the answer.
Right.
Okay. And so I just think that this is something that we really have to focus in on, because I tell you, the healing process is really different. It's not, it's like no other that I've experienced. And I've experienced a few situations that I had to heal from, and it hurt. I mean, the process of it was just some days unbearable. Some days it felt unbearable.
To me, it is the not sleeping, not eating.
It's the whole thing.
It's that pit in your stomach that just feels it's sinking, it's consuming. I remember going through the healing process with a particular issue, and I think I told you, I said, I honestly feel like I am losing my mind because there's so many questions that you need answers to, and you just don't know where to pull them from, and you're searching.
I got a pastor that okay, so the healing process steps are mental, physical, and spiritual. In church, it is seen as the closer you draw to God. The closer you draw to God is the closer to reach a resolution to one's concerns. However, the average person has to see immediate results in order to justify their openness at church. You're right. The average person does have to see, they want immediate results.
Yeah.
And for me, I have labeled my healing process in certain situations, because each situation seemed to be different with my healing process. It wasn't like the grieving stages. So because sometimes even in the grieving stages, I have situations now where even now that I, with my work mom and with Sophie, Javen's mom, I just have moments where I just cry, so I know those stages. I know what those stages are. I'm aware. But for my healing process, it seemed to be different for both, or for all three situations that I've had to heal from.
Right.
More so that part of the triggering part. It did, yeah. So it's some different. I definitely think that's people do want immediate results, and I'm actually just gonna do some homework on that. That's what I'm actually gonna do.
There's, I wish there was a cheat sheet for it, but it's not. There are no immediate results. And the other thing I think that's imperative for people to know is that there is no rumeric or right way to heal.
Pastor John, I need you, because this comment says, your research on healing at church may come sooner than you think in upcoming preaching engagement, Dewana. The Holy Spirit placed it on your mind as a relevant topic of concern to an awaiting congregation.
Well,
it's always one.
What should we wear, Pastor John, to her speaking engagement? I'm thinking yellow. I'm ready for it.
I love yellow, but
me too.
I'm not. All right. So come on,
Charlie.
Y'all are. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is what? What do you do when you're in situations and challenging situations that causes you to change direction? What do you do?
Abort mission.
We have never aborted mission.
Never.
We have never aborted mission.
No.
And that's an amazing thing, because sometimes, especially here with doing talk shows or podcasting, sometimes you have impromptu moments, or you have moments where the direction just, and because we interview guests, not just celebrity guests, but we interview guests.
Yeah.
And sometimes things happen. So we have to kind of revise our segments or revise our show in immediate instance. So we didn't get the message until maybe 5 minutes, or maybe even after that. So maybe even we got the message 2 minutes before 7 o'clock, before showtime. So this happens, and this is not we don't. It's not a, oh my gosh,
It's just one of those
oh my gosh, they
things.
didn't show up. Oh my god, it's none of that. It's like because life happens, and we understand that more than you know. But I would have to say, what is something that you would speak on about realigning the situation when it's moments like this?
I'm just a firm believer in going with the flow.
Okay.
You know what like that's how I live my life. If something is like getting ready to go down a different, I could have it all planned out, but that's the funny thing about life. It's not going to always be what you planned. And I think you have to be able to go with the bend and curve of things.
So I want you to speak on, as a mental health specialist, I want you to speak on people that don't know how to go with the flow. People that panic in chaotic situations, because some people would think that this is a chaotic situation, right? Because you got to think quick. What we going to do? Well, our show was based on 30 minutes of interviewing him. So now what do we do? Okay. So speak on that.
I think it just comes from, like you said, it comes from a place of panic. And I think people who are very regimented and have to have things such and such, that is nerve-wracking for someone that has a precise plan in place. But I think you will absolutely drive yourself batty if you are not just able to go with the flow of things. Nothing in life is ever going to go the way you planned. And if you think it is, you have not. You haven't had enough experiences. But it is triggering for people that like have that perfectionist. But
I've been delivered.
You have been.
I'm being delivered.
You have. And I think it's just a matter of like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You got to take a deep breath. It's okay. There's other ways that we can do this.
So listen, one of the things that I never done is panic.
Yeah. Never panic. I've
never panic, right?
Uh-uh.
But it's always like, I didn't like it. Or I'll text you guys later and be like, it was a mess.
You can tell when you're reprocessing it because you always do it. And I watch you do because you're reformulating it again. You're figuring out, okay, that was plan A. My rule of thumb is A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. People who want their plan when they want it only got an A. There is no B, C, and
You're
D.
Right. And so, and I guess that's a question. So are you prepared? Are you a person that's prepared, or are you a person that goes with the flow?
Sometimes,
but you said you go with the flow.
Sometimes I'm prepared. Sometimes I'm just like, that's cool. I think depending on where you are in life, you just get to a point where you're not going to let anything ruffle your feathers.
Yeah.
And I'm at that point. I'm like, that didn't work. Cool. Let's try something else. What's up? I'm not going to let anything or anyone ruffle me anymore.
So I think this, and this is just me being honest. This is not me boasting about it. I think God has what He has done with me. I truly appreciate what He has done with me, because I think He has taken my creative flow to an all-time, to another level.
Absolutely.
And I'm not gonna say all time because He's still working, but to another level, to where He allows me to have plan A, B, C, D already in the making, where it's a flow of plan B. It's a flow of plan C. It's never, since we've had the show, I don't think I've ever can remember a time that it's been, I'm always prepared, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes my preparation is not what's supposed to be that day.
No.
Okay. So I can be prepared. I could have given them the questions that we're going to talk about. I could have sent them over my talking points and said, hey, send me over your talking points, and whatever. Yeah. I could have done all of that and then had the show aligned, the run of show aligned, however it was going to go. And then boom, it was different.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so this is how we're going to do it, or we'll just flow. So I love that God has done that with me. And I love I have to say, let me shout out my co-host because God has been doing some things with has always been a creative person. As you know, guys, is a makeup artist, so her creativity is in her blood. But to see move in this wave that she's moving on, right? For My Sister Circle, she came up with. God used her to come with the idea of our sister shorts. And it was a phenomenal idea. So I just love to see you flowing in this creative way for My Sister Circle, because you guys, My Sister Circle, creating content for any talk show, any podcast is actually 100%, 100%, 100% one of the hardest things I've ever done. I know we probably make it look easy. I know we probably make light of things, when things happen or when we have technical difficulties or anything. But it's 100% one of the hardest things I've ever done. And to be consistent with it, of creating content and all of those things. Recently I actually reached out for help. Like, hey, send me over some topic ideas and then I thank God for people that send me over topic ideas. And then I have one particular person that sent over some topic ideas, and she said, let God, whatever God choose off these lists, I hope it's some things. And that for me says, exactly who I am. You know that He's the source first.
Always. No
matter what, you know who I am. You know that I have to go to Him first. No matter if you give me 10 topics to 100 topics, you know that I have to go with Him first and say, God, what do you want us to do? So the fact that she even said that in the message was like, oh my God, I just love my circle. I just absolutely love my circle. That's why I didn't do a National Best Friends Day, because my list, it's a sisterhood list, and I have a circle. It may be small, but it's huge to me.
Small but impactful.
What?
Small
effective,
but impactful.
Impactful, everything. No, I'm just talking about my sistership. The people that I have in my corner. It is a small circle, but it's so big to me. I don't call everybody friend. And when I say sis, it's because of what God has given in the inside of me. It's not necessarily that everybody that I call sis have not earned sister.
Absolutely.
I will say this time, you have to earn being my sister. And I should have to earn being your sister.
Absolutely.
That's just that. So don't be quick to call everybody sister. And when you call people sis, know that there is some work to be done in that relationship. And it's absolutely patience, growth. Learn what your expectations is in sistership, in a sisterhood. I don't know how we switch to this, but I think that right now, today, we have to teach our younger generation that everybody is not your best friend. Everybody is not your sister. Everybody is not, just because you call them sister, just because that's the new trend. Within the last 5 years, sis is the new thing. Everybody is sis. Everybody is bro. That doesn't mean that they've earned the right to your circle as a sister or as a brother. That has to be earned. Make people earn that. Make people work for that title. So, anything else? All right, guys. So next week we have another amazing show. Guys, I want you to remember that there's no competition in sisterhood, and always, always be willing to fix your sister's crown. Have a good night. Bye.
This program has been brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm, former prosecutor and experienced aggressive criminal defense attorney, specializing in violent crimes, drug crimes, weapon crimes, murder, fraud, white-collar crimes, DUI, and much more. Fighting vigorously to win every case at trial. Call 248-545-5290. Call the offices of Marquardt